Well, good morning, good morning, good morning to you, and welcome back to Morning Musings, everyone. My name is Don K. Preston. I am the president of Preterist Research Institute of Ardmore, Oklahoma. We are in the midst of a study, a thematic study of 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and the resurrection. And by the way, let me say once again how much I appreciate your comments. And before we get into today's video, let me remind you that coming up very soon, May the 10th, as a matter of fact, I'll be having a formal YouTube debate with Dr. Jaime Pickett. That will be live streamed, free of charge, on both YouTube and Facebook. As soon as we have the link for that, we will be posting it on Facebook. So you can just go to my Facebook page, Don K. Preston, or I'm sure you can go to Dr. Jaime Pickett's Facebook page as well. Others will be posting the link, I'm positive. Dr. Pickett is a progressive dispensationalist. The theme and the subject of our discussion will be Romans 11, 25 through 27, the salvation of Israel, that Dr. Pickett says is yet future, will occur at the second coming, at the height of the Great Tribulation. I affirm that Romans 11, 25 to 27 was fulfilled no later than AD 70. Well, as I mentioned, we're doing a thematic study of the resurrection. The thing about it is, I'm going to do a brief digression here because over the last little bit, I have been getting email after email after email and question after question about September the 23rd, 2017. And really the very first one, I received an email from a Mr. Alan Manson. The subject was significant biblical event soon, 23rd of September 2017. In this email, Mr. Manson, the email was had a great demeanor to it, but Mr. Manson pointed out, and in a big, bold display, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it says, once in 7,000 years, 23rd of September 2017, and he talks about that on that particular date, that certain planets will be aligned for the very first time, 7,000 years. And he says, quote, the significance of this planetary alignment is that it meets the conditions specified in the book of Revelation chapter 12 as stated below. Let me read Revelation 12, 1 to 2. Quote, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman symbolized as Israel, clothed with the sun over her shoulder and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of stars, the 12 tribes of Israel, parenthetical, and she being with child, travailing in birth, and pained to be delivered. And he says, since becoming aware of this phenomenon, I have put together a 14-minute video that uses the King James Bible verses to indicate from my studies the following facts. Number one, the prophet Daniel's 70th week of 7 years duration, also known as the tribulation, will commence on this date. So, the 70 weeks of Daniel will commence on September 23rd, 2017. World War III, which includes the Psalm 83 war aimed at Israel by Arab nations, will be raging in the lead up to that debate. So before September 23rd, 2017, World War III will begin. Number three, the son of Satan, known as the Antichrist, will sign a peace treaty with Israel on this date. Number four, the rapture of the church will occur at an unknown period after this date. So here we have four significant events that he says will occur either before the World War III or on that date. And he says all of this agrees perfectly with Revelation chapter 12. Well, Mr. Manson, we've got a problem here. And for all of those who have been following the YouTube videos on September 23rd of 2017 and saying that the end will come, let me point out, and I'm only going to do a couple of videos on this, all right? Because with all due respect, I mean no offense whatsoever, but with all due respect, there is not one single thing in Mr. Manson's claims that has any biblical merit whatsoever. Now look, if you're going to appeal to Revelation chapter 12, notice that he says, or that the text says, there appeared a great wonder in heaven. A woman, now watch this, symbolized as Israel. So the woman in Revelation 12 does not represent a real woman, but represents symbolically the nation of Israel. Then he says, clothed with the sun over her shoulder, and the moon under her feet. Now, why doesn't the sun and the moon symbolize something other than the sun and the moon? After all, the woman represents something other than a literal woman. Represents the nation of Israel. Upon her head, a crown of 12 stars. The stars are not literal stars. Do you catch the power of that? And yet he extrapolates from this reference to sun and to moon and to stars, which are symbolic, according to his own statement, of the 12 tribes of Israel. So he goes to a symbolic text. He tells us that the sun, the moon, and the stars represent Israel, the nation of Israel. And then he extrapolates from that and says, no, actually it's talking about the literal alignment of literal stars. Folks, that is an inherent contradiction. If the sun and the moon and the stars are representative and symbolic of Israel, then Israel is not representative and symbolic of literal physical stars lining up in the sky. It amazes me how badly this claim distorts what Revelation chapter 12 pardon me, actually teaches. So, in this very first digression from our study of 1 Corinthians 15, I want you to note that the claim that the 70th week of Daniel will begin September 23rd, World War III will begin before that, and that the Antichrist will sign a treaty with Israel on that date. And by the way, I just got to take note of this. If you have 12 stars representing the 12 tribes, don't you have to have the restoration of all 12 tribes before September 23rd of this year? You see, it doesn't work if you're taking this in some literalistic fashion. Where is the restoration of the literal 12 tribes of Israel right now and before September 23rd, 2017? I say this again as kindly as possible. If you're going to appeal to Revelation chapter 12, you ought to at least honor what it says. And the symbolism of Revelation chapter 12 has nothing to do with literal, physical sun, moon, and stars being aligned for the first time in 7,000 years. And we've got more. And I will show you the fallacy of appealing to Revelation chapter 12 as proof that in September 23rd, 2017, Revelation chapter 12 is talking about an alignment of the stars for the first, certain stars, for the first time in 7,000 years. And it will come directly from Revelation chapter 12, 1 through 2. I will show you that Mr. Manson, as well-intentioned as pardon me, as he may be, has completely ignored what the text says, and he has negated the birth of Jesus as the Messiah. I'll share that with you on the flip side.